area in the city, maybe far away. It doesn't mean you have to live on the property, but real estate is one of the most powerful investments that you can invest in. Start small, but just get started. It provides rental income, capital appreciation. You owe it to yourself, even though you seek professional advice, to develop your knowledge, like events like this, where you take it on yourself to try to improve yourself. You have to understand what you're investing in so that people can't scam you so easily. Invest in regulated products. Invest with regulated institutions. Don't just invest somewhere because your cousin or brother works there. The central bank, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the stock exchange, they regulate the environment. So be very careful with your choices. Now, after you have built wealth and you're creating wealth, protect your assets with insurance. Your property, I'm sure if I take a poll here, most people have third-party insurance on their car. It's important to insure your assets properly, especially now that the Naira has lost so much value. Your assets are underinsured. So if you try to replace your car, you'll find that the premium you're paying cannot cover a new car. Your house, have you valued it properly? Maybe you valued it a year ago, but if you had to replace some of those assets to be so different. Your insurance involves your health, your life. If you have a young family and you're the primary breadwinner, what if something happens and you can't work? You want to have insurance, educational insurance, life insurance to take care of your family during that period. And health insurance, as I said before, just one bad illness can turn the tide from riches to rags. Retirement, it sounds ridiculous talking about retirement to a young audience, but you're going to spend about a third of your life in retirement, so you have to plan for it from your first job. Your pension that you pay every month does not support you in retirement. It's going to be the stocks, the bonds, the property that you invest in. Now, it sounds odd as well talking about death when many of you are just starting out. But there are some triggers that must happen to make you think that you must write a will or have an estate plan. Are you getting married, divorced, remarried? Do you have children? Are you starting a business? Is there a significant change in assets? Is there a health scare? You need to have an estate plan. It's such a huge problem for us, but many, many people don't have any plan, and things happen, and suddenly their family is in total distress, even though they had a huge plan for their family in terms of what they wanted to happen. Joint accounts, life insurance, wills, trusts, these are all tools that you can use, and you owe it to your family. If you don't, the court determines what happens to your assets. I know a lovely family, they had 2 children. The parents both died in a car crash, and neither of them had a will. The court decided to send them to their illiterate grandparents in the village. They were living in Lagos and went to a private school here. That was not what the parents would have wanted. They would have preferred them to have a guardian. A will helps you to choose a guardian in your lifetime that will take care of your young children. Another family, many Nigerian men put their next of kin as brother instead of their wife. Maybe it was a traditional thing that hasn't changed, but it has to change. So next of kin brother, this young man put his father as next of kin. He wasn't married. And he forgot about it, because many times in companies, the next of kin form is just forgotten about. It should be reviewed every year. He then got a job in a top bank, had 3 children, and then died after a brief illness. His next of kin was his father, who had 8 children and 2 wives. The company gave his entire entitlements to his father. So you can imagine, his children did not get very much. So it's a very morbid thought, but you do need to consider it when you have people that are depending on you. And then health. Your commitment to a healthy life is so critical. The food you eat, the exercise, the company you keep is so important. And last of all, philanthropy. It is through philanthropy that we attain the best relationship with our money. You really have to think from now what you can do to improve the community that you're in. Build giving into your financial plan. It is so important that it doesn't have to be about money. Many times we think of philanthropy being for very wealthy people. You can give of your time, your intellect, your experience, your skills. It's important that you build that into your plan. Here are a few tools that we use, and they're available if you will find them useful. I've got a book, The A to Z of Personal Finance, which takes you through your journey of your finances. And I love the Monopoly game, which is why I got involved in it, in terms of teaching families the basic concepts of saving, investing, buying property. So you have choices. You plan, you save, you invest, and you give. In the final analysis, what really matters? It's good to have money and the things that money can buy, but it's good too to check up once in a while and make sure that you haven't lost the things that money can't buy. Money is not the most important factor. Life is not measured in naira and dollars. Money does not buy happiness or long-term fulfillment. It is about loving relationships with your family, your spouse, your friends, your children, and your relationship with God. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you so much. You may be seated.